affect us all in the Fargo-Moorhead community. We'll talk taxes, the diversion, places to go and things to do, and of course, Bison and Viking football. We'll talk about issues that affect everyone in this great community that we call home. That's Talk of the Town with John Adams, Wednesdays at 11 on WDAY Radio.
970 WDAY AM and 93.1 FM, Fargo-Moorhead.
Welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for joining us on this Monday afternoon. 104 right now, 30 degrees outside of Fargo, mostly cloudy and windy. We have a south wind at about 20 miles an hour and at times gusting into the 30s. That is producing wind chills in the mid to upper teens and at times low 20s. But air temperatures near 30. I think it's a pretty nice afternoon out there, and we have some nice temperatures sticking around in the forecast for the next week. So we'll touch on that during the show. I'm meteorologist Justin Storm. I'm here with Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki and Ag Director Bridgette Readel. And Bridgette, how is your day going so far?
Well, Justin, I'm on my way back from Grand Forks right now as we speak, and I see a couple of vehicles that have been in the ditch today. Was it icier this morning, or exactly what am I missing here? It's pretty nice out right now.
Oh, it's beautiful in my opinion, but yeah, the roads were a little slick this morning, and that was just due to, you get a 40-mile-an-hour wind coming in out of the south, and although most of the snow is locked in place from just freezing over and crusting over, there's still a little loose snow around, so you do get a little bit of drifting snow in spots, and you know how people are around here. They don't want to slow it down even if they see ice on the roads, so it's just a case of people going a little faster than they should be with a few slick spots on the road.
Well, my big question for both you and Dean will be, with a day like this, because it's so nice out, does that mean February is going to be kind of the turn towards spring? Is it going to stay this nice, you guys?
I'm not expecting it to, at least in the back half of February, and that kind of goes in lines with the LRC. And do you remember when we did our LRC prediction back in December? If memory serves me right, I think we said watch out around Valentine's Day. Is that correct?
We did, and what are you telling me now?
Well, our long-range models are now starting to pick up on a sizable storm tracking through the central and northern plains. Exactly where it's going to set up, still a little up in the air, but the models are hinting at that, and it's falling in right around Valentine's Day, so looks like another great hit on the LRC.
Well, I think it will be, but does that mean I should get out my map? Because I'm supposed to travel next week, and we all know Bridgette's travel, the LRC, and winter storms all seem to collide.
That's what it seems like. Anytime you have traveling in the winter or Dean's going to an event in the summer around Fargo, it either rains or storms or both.
Yeah, we're no good at this, you guys. Just saying.
You guys, you need to stop traveling. Dean needs to stick to his 5-mile radius at cruise night. And, fun things. So, well, Bridgette, we have some fun things coming up on the show today. We're going to be touching a little bit on the Farm Bill and also on conservation. There's filing a suit against WOTUS, W-O-T-U-S. I'm not quite sure what that is, but I know that you're going to inform me on what it is and what's going on with that. And also, we're going to talk about another little something that's been ongoing, and we touched on it last week, and we kind of ran out of time. I wanted to get more people's thoughts on this.
Say, did any of you children see the alien spaceship last night?
Yeah, we're going to be talking about the alien spaceship from last week. We're still talking about that balloon, and now there's reports coming out that there's more than one. There's 2 or 3 of them, one over Central Latin America, another one a few days ago over the United States, and then the one that got shot down just off the coast of North Carolina. And now I'm seeing reports that thing potentially weighed thousands of pounds, and I don't know if I'm buying that report. So we're going to touch on that and so much more, and we'd love for you to be a part of the show. Give us a call, 701-293-9000. We'd love to hear from you, get you your thoughts, your opinions on any of the matters that we discuss, and we'll do all of that right after we come back from ABC News.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The death toll has risen to at least 2,300, but people are still being found alive in the rubble beneath buildings in Turkey and Syria following one of the strongest earthquakes in decades. ABC's Jordana Miller is in the region.
From its epicenter in Turkey's Gaziantep province, the quake destroying hundreds of buildings in both countries, what officials fear has buried alive more victims. Syrian and Turkish search and rescue teams digging through the rubble, hoping to find survivors. This was the strongest earthquake to hit Turkey in nearly 100 years. It was felt in Lebanon, here in Israel, and Egypt. Jordana Miller, ABC News, Jerusalem.
Dozens of countries, including the U.S., have pledged assistance to Turkey and Syria. There was also a 3.8 magnitude earthquake in Buffalo, New York this morning. Just minimal damage and no injuries reported. Efforts continue to retrieve parts of the suspected Chinese spy balloon shot down over the weekend. ABC's Mary Bruce is at the White House.
This has happened before, including during the Trump years, when it was not made public. And this is something that the White House is pointing out as they are pushing back against their Republican critics who are arguing that they should have acted sooner. And again, they are going really out of their way to insist that the White House acted as safely as possible and acting, they say, in a way that allowed them to better understand this mission and gain the most intelligence from all of this.
With the State of the Union address scheduled for tomorrow night, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is trying to convince people that the economy is getting stronger.
We created over 500,000 jobs, more than 12 million since the president took office, and inflation is coming down. It remains too high, but it's been falling for the last 6 months.
40% of Americans, however, tell ABC News and the Washington Post in a new poll their finances are worse off now than they were right after President Biden took office. You're listening to ABC News.
I am Kate Gibson, and I hope I don't regret starting a weekly podcast with my father, Charlie Gibson.
Thanks, kiddo. On our new ABC audio podcast, The Bookcase with Kate and Charlie Gibson, we will have conversations with our favorite new and established writers, as well as book lovers and booksellers.
There's nothing more delicious than spoon-feeding yourself every word of a wonderful novel.
New episodes of The Bookcase with Kate and Charlie Gibson are posted every Thursday.
Wait a minute. You mean now I can listen to GMA any time of the day, anywhere?
Yes, that's exactly what we mean with the new Good Morning America podcast. Listen to all of GMA served up daily straight to you. Oh, Michael.
What? I'm listening to our new GMA podcast. You guys, it's really good.
Listen to the Good Morning America podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Subscribe now. It's really...
North Dakota winters can be freezing cold, making many things brittle. Some days it's like the air is made of broken glass.
Some don't care, like snowmen don't care. They love the cold. But the cold is mean and hard on cars. And homes.
North Dakota temperatures combined with strong winds makes for a monster cutting through our home's windows and doors.
Just like a robber, they'll steal your heat, your comfort, even the peaceful silence you enjoy at home. I'm Jaden.
And I'm Andrew, the manager of the window and door store in Fargo. We've been helping North Dakotans find the right replacement windows and doors for 16 years.
Whether you want to replace 1 or 2 windows or more, we'll go to your home or business when it works for you and show you windows and doors that are made to stand up to North Dakota weather in every season.
We'll give you a no obligation, no pressure estimate.
We give everyone our lifetime guarantee on the installation of our windows.
The Window and Door Store in Fargo. Better windows, better doors.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for rejoining us on this Monday afternoon, 1:12 right now, WDAY radio time. And I'm meteorologist Justin Storm. I'm here with Ag Director Bridgette Readel and Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki will be joining us here in just a moment. He's in a very top secret classified meeting right now, so he's a little occupied at the moment. But I think that, Bridgette, we can handle the show for a little bit with the some of the topics that are going on. And I heard this actually just before our show started, and it kind of piqued my curiosity. And it's this sudden death syndrome with soybeans. What's that about?
Oh, sure. That was on our 1 minute Ag Focus. And you're right. That is a disease in soybeans. We do hear that when farmers have a kind of an unexplained problem in their field, this is one of the things that it might be attributed to. And with ratings that we are seeing in hybrids and genetics, we can do a much better job of keeping track. What's the reasoning for it? What's the symptomology? How can we work around it? And it's one of those situations where farmers are asking more and more questions as to why could this be happening and what can I do to prevent it. So again, a lot of our genetics and so forth, as we listen to what happens in the seed world, can really help us overcome the problem. And there's a number of diseases that we're seeing on the rise. Tar spot really took a toll in cornfields in a number of areas of Iowa, Indiana, Illinois, and even some parts of Minnesota. That's going to continue to be on the grow as well, and I don't think we're going to see it entering our neighborhood in the next growing season, maybe not even for 2. But a lot of times that depends on what happens in our weather patterns. We get some of those situations with southerly winds. We have seen pests that have come up this direction that we didn't have before, and we can also see it with disease spores. So back to your original question about sudden death syndrome in soybeans, we're going to see it in fields where we especially have cool, wet soils for 2 to 4 weeks after planting. That's really conducive to the infection if we don't have the right genetics to reduce that potential problem.
I see. So was last year kind of in a way, almost textbook scenario for the disease because we were so wet and it didn't really let up? We were able to get in the fields and things started to dry out, but it took a little while, and I can't say it was overly warm for the time of the year.
Right, and there's other things that contribute to it as well. And if planting can be delayed until soils are warmer, and also avoiding the compaction areas of the field, that helps, and also can be better managed with crop rotation. So fields that are generally a soybean on soybean rotation can also be at risk. So these are all situations that could be a little bit better managed in order to try to avoid it. If you think that you have or have encountered sudden death syndrome in your soybeans, that would be a great conversation for you to have with your extension agent or your folks at NDSU Extension in Fargo or even University of Minnesota, because they do crop surveys and they're always interested to know who's been affected, where those situations are happening, so they can watch the spread or can also help to prevent the problem from happening in specific geographies.
Right, and let's touch on that tar spot again. How far, you said that was kind of in Iowa, but how far have reports, or how far north have reports come out as in for it getting close to our region?
It's the very southern part of Minnesota, and then also just into that southeast corner tip of South Dakota saw some tar spot. And tar spot, you would have thought as a disease, wasn't going to be very prevalent in fields that were drier. But, Iowa last year put themselves in a drought category. They were certainly more to the dry side, maybe not as drastic of a drought as one of us might think here to the north. But nonetheless, we did see tar spot, and there has been a tremendous amount of discussion about it this winter at a variety of extension meetings, et cetera, as folks are looking to better identify it, look for varieties and hybrids, I should say, in corn that are going to give them more resistance and tolerance to tar spot. Because tar spot, once you find it in your field, it's going to move very quickly. You don't have a way to come back from that. It's not as though you can just spray and it quits. It's going to move so fast that you're going to have trouble getting into the fields in a timely fashion for treatment. So it's better to be on the preventative side when it comes to your hybrid than waiting to find out if it is in your field and having to fix it from there.
Right. And you said that there is a treatment, but it's not very effective, or it's just not overly effective based on how fast the disease spreads?
The second, not as effective based on how fast it can spread.
I see. So once you get it, you can do things, but it's hard to fix that situation. That this would be interesting because I know that we have listeners down from southern Minnesota and a few down into Iowa before that have called into the show. If they're listening, if you or if someone has had to deal with this tar spot, what was it like this past year? Were you able to get it under hands, or did it wipe out your field? What's going on with that? Give us a call, 701-293-9000. It'd be interesting to hear exactly what that situation looks like and what you're dealing with and what people up here could potentially have to worry about into the future. So give us a call. Let's talk about that if you want. When we come back, we'll discuss that. We'll also take a look at the forecast, and we got a few more ag topics that we'll dive into. So stay tuned. Weather and Ag in Focus. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Kayla with Sanctuary and Riverhaven Event Centers, and I'm here to tell you why I chose 702 Communications for all of our managed services, phone, internet, and security cameras. At our event center, we have hundreds of people coming into our business weekly, and it's so important for us to have cameras that we can rely on. We reached out to 702 so that they could give us a quote for installing brand new cameras in all areas of our building, and now we have 26 cameras so that we know every part of our building is under surveillance and we're secure. We've had cameras in our business for a while, but we reached out to 702 because we were having issues. A lot of them weren't working all the time. So 702 was able to come in, give us a solution, fix everything, install all brand new cameras, and now we know we've got better audio, better quality, and we have an app that we use that has full surveillance 24 hours a day for us to pull up and know exactly what's going on. As a business owner, that peace of mind is invaluable.
If you want more peace of mind for your business that's invaluable, call 702 Communications right now at 218-250-8700. Again, 218-250-8700. Call now because peace of mind is priceless.
Is your bathroom looking old and worn out? Want to update it, but you don't know where to start? Then let BCI Bath & Shower show you how to turn that old bath into an aisle of beauty and functionality. Our residential bathroom solutions provide the best value on the market, and our customer service is second to none. Our cost-effective BCI Bath & Shower family of products has what you need.
Remodeling our bathroom was a big decision for us.
They didn't make a mess out of our house at all. And at the end of the day, we had a beautiful new bathroom. And it was a great experience the whole way through.
We have the best monthly payment programs in the industry, with payments as low as $68 per month, or no interest, no payments for 18 months. For a limited time, be one of the first 100 callers who schedule a free in-home consultation and receive $500 off. Call 800-721-9985 for a free no-obligation price quote. That's 800-721-9985. Factory-trained and certified installers made in the USA, and discounts for seniors and military. BCI Bath & Shower, the leader in affordable bathroom products. That's 800-721-9985.
The famous chips. The potato chip, the chocolate chip, the computer chip, the poker chip, the paint chip, and the windshield chip. Glass Doctor of Fargo Moorhead wants to remind you that the difference in temperature outside and inside your vehicle can make a little chip grow into a real budget buster. So make your repair or replacement appointment today at Glass Doctor of Fargo Moorhead. Call or go online at glassdoctor.com/Fargo. That's glassdoctor.com/Fargo.
Call the Glass Doctor, we'll fix your paint. West Funeral Home in your difficult time.
Have you planned for all your life's events? At West Funeral Home and Life Tribute Center, we would be honored to have that talk of a lifetime with you. Through pre-planning, we will help honor and celebrate your journey on Earth so you can leave your family a lasting, treasured memory. Discover the difference.
West Funeral Home and Life Tribute Center. Little things make the difference.
And welcome to WDAY Weather and Ag in Focus. So glad that you're joining us. I'm Bridgette, Readel, Ag Director, along with Meteorologist Justin Storm, and soon to be joined by our Chief Meteorologist, Dean Wysocki. So I want to make sure that if you are listening and you have questions, please call us, 701-293-9000. You might be watching us on a live stream via Facebook, YouTube, or Acres TV, and we're glad you're there. If you've missed any parts of our show or others in the past, you can find us on our WDAY radio website under Show Archives. And Justin, on a day like today, maybe someone wants to take a walk, listen to the podcast or the live stream, and if they do that, what kind of weather are they going to be facing today or maybe the rest of the week?
You know, all in all, I can't say the weather is bad. It's just a little breezy out there right now. There's, in fact, actually a couple of light rain sprinkles, a couple of flurries out there, so we're kind of dealing with a few little pockets of a wintry mix, and that's just due to temperatures being near freezing for once. We're at 30 degrees right now, a south wind at 18, so as I said, a little breezy, and it will stay on the breezy side for the afternoon, but as we head closer to the evening, the winds will lighten up. We'll hang on to a few of those little sprinkles and flurries around the area, but they're more of a nuisance. I don't expect them to disrupt any traveling around the area, and we'll have temperatures reaching near 34 degrees. Now, as we head through the evening, and into tonight, it is going to turn windy again as a cold front pushes through the area. That's going to knock the wind out of the northwest this evening by about 7, 8 o'clock, give or take on that by a little bit. Out of the northwest around 15 to 30 miles an hour, and it will remain on the windy side throughout tonight, but those winds will lighten up for tomorrow, and tomorrow is looking like it's going to be a pretty nice day out there. Temperatures will be peaking right around 33 degrees in the afternoon, partly cloudy, light wind from the west-southwest, 5 to 15. So I think tomorrow is just going to be a perfect day. If you can get out of work, and I'm going to have to see if I can maybe get out of work and go and enjoy that. Take the day off. Go outside, enjoy it. Maybe, if the kids don't got school, or maybe if they want to go play hooky, go take them out somewhere and enjoy the afternoon. Because not to say that there aren't more nice days in the forecast, but it will be one of our nicer days over this 7-day period. As we head into Wednesday, clouds will roll. Oh, go ahead, Bridgette.
Hold on, Justin. Hold on. If you decide that you're playing hooky tomorrow, you're going to miss out on a great guest, and that's going to be the gentleman from Air Cedar Parts of Grand Forks. Dan is the owner, Craig is the field engineer. They're going to be in studio with us to talk about their business and the fact that they are producing parts for air cedars across the U.S., but they're doing it right here in North Dakota. We're going to catch them on their way down to a trade show in South Dakota. So maybe you don't want to play hooky until after our 1 o'clock hour tomorrow.
Either that or I'll just take 7 of the 8 hours off tomorrow and show up for WAG, because that does sound like it'll be a fun conversation. So I'm looking forward to that now.
Good. Well, then what happens to us on Wednesday for weather?
Well, the clouds will roll back in on Wednesday. Not to say that we won't see a few pockets of sunshine mixed in with it, but temperatures will stay in the lower 30s, mainly cloudy to partly sunny at times. Again, there will be a few breaks in clouds with a south wind 10 to 15, and then we'll have another little system pushing through Wednesday night into Thursday. That'll bring a slight chance for a few sprinkles or light rain showers, a wintry mix into Wednesday night, and then a slight chance for a little light snow into your Thursday afternoon. Doesn't look like all day snows, but a few snow showers will be possible on your Thursday. It will turn windy again with wind out of the northwest, 15 to 30 on Thursday. So there will be some spots of some drifting snow over the roads. So something kind of similar to this morning. There will be some slick spots, so just slow it down so you're not the unfortunate person that's stuck in the ditch. The rest of the week outside of that.
Hold on now. For Thursday, we can't rush past Thursday, because what's Thursday, Justin? What's the big deal we're having on Thursday?
I think that's Giving Hearts Day.
It is indeed, and Giving Hearts Day will be a fabulous little promotion around the community, and I say little, but we're talking millions of dollars, and we have in-studio guests. They're my favorite charity. I guess I preempted you and Dean by bringing in my favorite, and we'll be joined by some members of the North Dakota State FFA officer team on Thursday. So it's going to be a jam-packed week for all of us.
It's going to be a really busy week, and then the weather-wise, it's going to stay nice, although it will turn a little breezy again at the end of our week, into the weekend, at least the first half of it. So Saturday will be a little on the breezy side. We'll be looking at partly cloudy to partly sunny skies. Friday, Saturday, more clouds around on Sunday, but temperatures will be sticking around the lower to upper 20s all the way through the weekend. So that is looking nice. And, we kind of teased a little bit about it at the top of the hour with our show is, watch out around Valentine's Day. We said back in December, and we put it on our calendar. It looks like there could be a decent-sized storm system rolling through around that time frame, and now our long-range computer models are starting to pick up on that storm system. So that is now something that we will be tracking over the next handful of days and into next week as well.
Absolutely. So never a dull moment, but that's why we have the LRC, because it keeps us up to speed on what will or won't, and when it will or won't be happening as far as our weather conditions are concerned. And mark your calendars if you haven't already. We'll be doing our Spring Outlook special on Tuesday, March 7th. That'll be happening in the afternoon. We'll probably start a little bit of teasing of that during our 1 o'clock hour here for Weather and Ag in Focus. And we'll follow that with time on the Jay Thomas Show. We'll have Gary Leasock, who's the inventor of the LRC, join us. So have pen and paper ready. Write down what we say, because we kind of like it when you come back at the end of the year and say, yep, you were right. Occasionally we might be off a tish, but not much.
No, definitely not. This LRC thing it's been amazing to watch it unfold and whatnot, and it's definitely been fun. But before we left our last segment, Bridgette, we were kind of touching on the tar spot a little bit, and I don't have another question about it, but if anyone has had to deal with this down in southern Minnesota, Iowa, and I believe you said portions of South Dakota as well had a little bit of that, give us a phone call. Let us know what that situation is like, what we might have to worry about in the next handful of years if if this continues to make a northward shift, this disease, give us a phone call, 701-293-9000. And I'm going to forward on to another topic. So if you want to call in on that, we'll definitely come back to it. But this was also in the news that I saw this, or I actually heard it this morning, was on an earthquake. And I believe it was over in Turkey, around over in Turkey and Syria, I believe. But a magnitude 7.8 earthquake that struck there. And of course, it's related to hundreds of deaths already. That's very sad and unfortunate. I think the death toll around 2,900 is what I'm seeing right now out of the New York Times. But something that big and devastating overseas in that area, agriculturally wise, do we get anything out of that area? And what I'm kind of leaning at is something of this catastrophic event that's happened over there, or very deadly and damaging event. May that affect things over here in the United States when it comes to, agriculture prices, supplies, anything like that, or maybe things that they usually buy from us that they might not be focusing as much on now?
I think it's important to note that we have all realized how fragile our supply chain can be, and any global movement or any global black swans can affect us in a variety of ways. Now, I want you to think about this. Turkey was a net importer from Ukraine. And so that was a big deal when the deal was struck with the United Nations between Ukraine shipping out to Turkey, et cetera. That had to be done with Russia involved, et cetera. So we know that they need to bring things in for their country. Are they exporting a lot to us? It's a great question that I'll have to research, because off the top of my head, I don't think about them in the agricultural category that a place like Ukraine or even parts of Russia might be. But nonetheless, anytime we have disruptions in ports, in labor, in oceanic activity where we're not getting ships moved around as quickly as we can, I think that it indirectly can affect us all in a variety of ways. We just realized that our supply chain hasn't been as robust as we thought. And so this is going to be something we'll have to watch. But it's unfortunate to see such a death toll from that earthquake. And that was a sizable one. I believe you said it was over 7 on the Richter scale.
Yeah, it was a 7.8.
Oofta. That's not going to be easy to overcome.
Right.
A lot of damage involved there.
And if memory serves me right, and Google is just a fingertip away, I'm not going to search it right now. And I'm sure someone will call in and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was about the size earthquake that hit San Francisco back in the, what was that? Was that the 40s, Bridgette, and that caused all the fires and the damage over there?
San Francisco's had several. If I recall, there was even one not that long ago back in the 80s. I don't know what its magnitude was, but I distinctly remember there was a lot of problems when it came to their baseball park that got damaged.
Mm-hmm.
I remember right, that was the Candlestick Park, had a lot of damage to it at the time.
Yeah.
So there's a number of things that could be coming up here.
Yeah, those earthquakes are they're something else. And I was over in California a couple of years ago. I really wanted to experience an earthquake just to know what it felt like, and to have that sensation. I don't want to go through a 7.8, but one of the little ones, like a 3.2, of the ones that are just you can barely feel, would be something kind of interesting to know what that feeling's like. But when Weather and Ag in Focus comes back, well, we've been touching on it. And
say, did any of you children see the alien spaceship last night?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that weather balloon a little bit more. So if you want to call in and give us your thoughts on it, join in on our conversation. Again, phone number is 701-293-9000. Stay tuned. Weather and Ag in Focus. We'll be right back.
As a Walgreens pharmacist, I talk with people all the time about little tips and tricks for filling their Medicare prescriptions, like taking advantage of Walgreens 90-day refills to save them a trip, or using Refill by Scan, which is super easy and right on your phone. And for anybody worried about prescription costs, I say, hey, we got you, with low-cost copays on many medications.
Let's talk about making things easier. Walgreens is here. Fill your way and save at walgreens.com/Medicare. See pharmacists for restrictions and exclusions.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
How
How long does it take to tackle a home project? With Angie, you could cross it off your list before this ad is over. Just tell us what you need, indoor or outdoor, repair or redesign, and we handle the rest, sending a top pro to get it done. You don't have to lift a finger, except to tap the screen or click the mouse. Plus, Angie is free to use. So bring us your next home project, and we'll bring it home. Download the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com to get started.
Are you suffering from neuropathy? Do you experience stabbing pain, numbness, tingling, or burning in your feet? Are you tired of sleepless nights and avoiding life due to pain? If you've been diagnosed with neuropathy or are experiencing pain or numbness in your feet, pick up the phone and call us right now before it's too late at 701-929-7545. Again, that's 701-929-7545. Neuropathy is a very serious and progressive disease where your nerves start to break down. Eventually, it leads to balance problems, falls, complete loss of independence, and it can lead to amputation. Our program addresses the underlying causes and doesn't simply mask your symptoms with medication. In fact, many patients start experiencing relief from neuropathy symptoms within weeks. There's no surgery and no use of prescription drugs. Pick up the phone right now and call 701-929-7545. Call us today at Dakota Clinic of Chiropractic at 701-929-7545 today.
Oil and natural gas create opportunities for North Dakota. In fact, over 50,000 North Dakotans have good-paying jobs thanks to the oil and natural gas industry. Real people finding prosperity in their careers and bringing it home for their families and communities. It's one of the many ways oil and natural gas are making life better in North Dakota for generations. North Dakota's oil and natural gas, advancing the possibilities.
Don't you hate when you forget something important? Grandma's birthday, the password to your old laptop, or picking up little Timmy from hockey practice? It's okay, we've all been there. Let us take one thing off your mind this year with Giving Hearts Day scheduled giving. Starting January 2nd, you can give to one of hundreds of charitable causes before the big day. You can even pledge to volunteer if that's your thing. Visit givingheartsday.org and help someone in your community today.
Fresh off a road win in South Dakota, the Moorhead boys basketball team returns to Section 8 play tonight in Sartell. This is Larry Knutson for Spud Sports on 970 WDAY 93.1 FM. Teams are gearing up for the stretch run and a top spot in section play. Join us tonight, 6 o'clock tip-off from Sartell on 970 WDAY 93.1 FM.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for rejoining us. 1:35 on this Monday afternoon, 30 degrees, wind out of the south at 18 miles per hour. I'm meteorologist Justin Storm with Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki and Ag Director Bridgette Readel. And before we touch on the whole balloon topic, let's hit another one of our ag topics here. And Bridgette, what's going on? I think me and Dean actually might have talked a little bit about this last week while you were down in New Orleans. But what's going on? Athletes in farmland. Is this the NFL and the NBA guy that bought all the farmland?
Well, let's start with that. I'm going to be curious to hear what you guys talked about or what you think. And this is indeed Joe Burrows and what's his name, Dylan, the NBA star. Mm-hmm. They went ahead and pulled their money together. They put together, Blake Griffin. They put about $5 million together, and it was a total of 25 athletes. And they have already bought 104 acres of farmland in Iowa. Now, I don't think that the $5 million was just for that 104 acres. They pulled their money, they've got it, and this is their progression to start buying. They will probably buy more because in their mind, they see this as a stable return on investment. Maybe only single digits to start, but that can certainly improve over time. And so they're very happy with this idea. Now, it says in the article 104 acres farm. They didn't buy the whole farm. They didn't buy buildings or anything down there. That's just a description of how it's used in Iowa. When you're buying a field, it might be called a farm instead of just a field. And these folks, the stars that are doing the buying, they're not really in it for the bushels. They want the return on investment on the land, and they're willing to rent back out to production farmers.
And
so does that follow what you guys were talking about?
Yeah, it does. And we were talking about that last week, Bridgette, about how renting out land is becoming a big thing now, too, in terms of we had a caller call in for that, explaining to us, that how that's a great profit now. And again, it varies each year, but do you think they're buying it specifically? Because they're not obviously going to farm it.
Right.
And price of farmland in Iowa right now is crazy high. You think they're going to turn around and make a profit on it, let's say, in 6 months? Or do you think they'll rent it out and continue to hopefully grow some more income out of that?
I think this is a long-term investment for them. They want to buy farmland as something to hold on to. And they may also be getting some that has the availability of hunting property rights on it as well, so that it's a sporting event as well as they could be using it for actual farm production. And when folks are buying this at this point, these are private sales. Last year in 2022, we saw some extremely high land prices. We saw two different sales, one in Nebraska, one in Iowa. They were in the neighborhood of $21,500, and there was another for $30,000. And so that was production farmers buying. That wasn't just someone looking for an investment, not in every case. But understand that farmland has a strong value. We're not making any more of it. Seeing that as a great return, they want to not necessarily turn on a short-term process, but they want to keep it for a while. And we even see it here in North Dakota. We see folks from New York who want to buy land because they want the ownership value of it. Maybe they take a pasture, no longer put cattle out, just turn it into their own private hunting reserve. And so there are more acres going out of production in that respect in this particular one. And even like when Bill Gates bought, that land got rented back to production farmers.
Now, Bridgette, is there any chance that farm prices will go, land-wise I'm talking, that the prices would go down per acre?
It's very rare that farmland prices go backwards.
Right.
And it can happen, but it's just not very often.
So it's kind of a no-brainer investment, really.
In a lot of ways. Now, remember, interest rates are on the rise. If these guys are buying it and they're paying cash, that's not their concern.
Right.
But if you are someone who would have to finance it, interest rates will certainly make a play into what you're trying to do these days. Absolutely.
So if you won the Powerball tonight, would you invest a couple million in farmland? It's probably a better return than any CD or anything like that.
Personally, I would, but it's different than just an investment for me. As a farm kid, my ties to the land are much stronger than that. I would want to buy farmland not as an investment, but I would look at going into production farming. And there's an old joke out there that says, how do you make $2 million in farming? Well, you start with 4 and you work your way down. So I would actually want to do that as someone who is in production, not just looking at it as a return on investment as an investment. Right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, me and
does that mean you guys are buying Powerball tickets for us? Are we all buying in?
Well, you should just be buying a Powerball ticket.
About 800 million tonight. So,
is it just becoming more and more common that these jackpot winnings are all that I hear now is that this jackpot is the 9th largest jackpot in history. It's the 4th largest jackpot in history, and it just seems like it's harder more and more and more.
It's harder
common.
to win now. That's why.
What do you mean it's been hard? It's been the same way for years.
They added numbers.
When did they add numbers? It's always been 5,
2-3 years
hasn't
ago.
It?
Yeah, but they added more numbers to be. Not numbers to be. They added more. So it used to be. Let's say it used to be 60. Now it's up to 69. They added more numbers.
Okay. I see.
Your odds are harder to win.
I see. Well, me and Dean last week we were talking about how we were thinking about just renting some land and farming on it, and Steve got all on board with it. He's like, I'll rent you guys out a few acres. We find somewhere that was renting them out, but we ran into another issue. We got to find the equipment to work on it unless we're doing this all by hand. We were since we had our popcorn farmer on, we were joking around that we would just grow popcorn on it. Get a little 5 acres of land and harvest some popcorn and sell it right around town.
Perfect. Did we lose Bridgette?
We might have lost Bridgette. Either that or she did not find that interesting.
She just didn't find our conversation interesting.
She's here. But if you guys wanted to actually farm, why wouldn't you just get someone to custom plant and custom harvest for you? That way you wouldn't have to do the investment on the equipment.
Like pay someone
Wouldn't
to come
that make
harvest it for us and give them a chunk out of it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, there we had the custom harvester. That's the right term. He joined us last year, and he goes from Oklahoma up to North Dakota, and he does the custom harvesting. Well, maybe he wants to jump on board with our little 5-acre plantation.
I think it would be tough to find a custom harvester who wants to harvest popcorn unless we get our guest from last week, Will Beer, because Will was all enthusiastic about popcorn. He might just come up from Missouri to help you out.
Yeah, he'll just do it for laughs and giggles.
He would truly enjoy it. And you know what? With the focus on the Farm Bill and the way it's gone when it comes to conservation, some of these investments that folks are doing realize that the Farm Bill is going to have a big emphasis on the Environmental Quality Incentive Program. It's called EQIP, that cost shares with producers to control runoff. So there's ways to gain more dollars back on a per acre basis if you're taking care of some of these programs. You know, in other areas of the Farm Bill that are going to be significantly increasing is funding for research into food safety, food security, and protecting the natural resources. These are just part of the things that are very critical to our Farm Bill priorities right now. But there's no doubt there are other methods besides just a cash rent, et cetera, that's going to bring some dollars into your farmland for you doing the improvements to it. So that's also a helpful thing to note.
Now, Bridgette, I got a question for you. And so recent snows, and they're going to go through another stormy part of the LRC cycle on the West Coast. They've got about 150 to 300% of normal snowfall. I mean, above normal. That's just 3 times what they should have
to
date. Which and again, stormy cycle will continue into the West Coast here a couple more times on the LRC. I believe that melts down to about 35 inches of rain, of liquid. So what does that mean for the ag community? I mean, I know obviously that's going to fill up a lot of the reservoirs out west, which badly need it. But how would that affect the ag community out, not only in California, but maybe irrigation in Arizona? Now they'll have enough water for irrigation. Obviously, that's a good thing.
Well, yeah, that was going to be my question to you. As you think about that snow melt and water replenishment into like Colorado River, which is a major irrigation source, that's going to be a great bonus for those folks because they've had to cut back so heavily on some of their irrigation in the last couple of years. And just depending where more snowfall may happen, where the melt goes to, that can help with aquifers. Like you said, it'll help plenty of pastures and stocking areas as well. But I think right now, all moisture in that western 2/3 of the United States is good moisture. Folks are happy to be receiving it. And we can see that as an improvement, especially in a pasture situation where the grasses are better. You're able to bring cattle out. The more grass per acre, the more cattle you can feed. And right now, it's a story we're going to touch on later this week. We have some of the lowest beef head number, the lowest number of beef animals. So like per head numbers in the U.S. than we've had in a long time. And folks would like to grow the size of their herds, haven't been able to do it because they have poor grass quality. So the rainfall that you're talking about, the snow melt, that could happen to help a lot of pastures to bring along more head of beef as well, or sheep.
That's great. Yeah, that's good. That's great news. That's great. Unfortunately, it looks like the drought conditions are going to continue for the central southern plains. That's the latest LRC outlook for this upcoming spring and summer. So areas of western parts of Kansas, Oklahoma, Nebraska. I mean, unfortunately, they're not going to get a lot of relief out of that snowpack in not only the Sierras but obviously the Rockies as well.
Well, we'd like to see more. And when I was in New Orleans last week, I had an opportunity to talk to several producers from the western part of the United States. Again, this was the National Cattlemen's Beef Association's annual meeting. And truthfully, it was, they had a lot of stories to tell about what they've been doing, how they've reduced herd numbers, managed their herds with their grazing. And no doubt, right now in the United States, we are very efficient at the amount of beef we can produce per animal, but we still need to make sure that there's enough pasture and that those animals are healthy in order to produce that amount of beef.
Right. Mm-hmm. But at least, like I said, or like you said, this will help the pasture areas out west, and like you said, hopefully bring up the herd count as well.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, learned a lot of things last week. When we come back, maybe that's something we can touch on is the concern that many ranchers and veterinarians, as well as the U.S. Department of Agriculture, has about hoof and mouth disease. That's actually a rampant problem around the globe. We're trying to make sure it stays out of the U.S. So let's touch on that after we come back with this visit and check on the markets from the American Ag Network.
At Helping Hands Care, they strive to find employees who are compassionate, ethical, and reliable. Currently hiring for CNAs and homemakers in the Fargo office. They have several different shifts with very flexible scheduling. Apply at helpinghandscareND.com.
Jay Thomas here to tell you my daily routine includes PetroServe USA. I've got one of their big stainless steel coffee mugs. I fill it up every morning with that coffee brewed up perfectly to get my day going. The breakfast, oh, it's the best. You won't find a better lunch deal anywhere. A pizza, 2 cookies, and a 20-ounce drink for $4. And don't forget about the grab-and-go home cooking at the 12th Avenue and the I-29 location, West Main, West Fargo, and Harwood, too. See you at PetroServe USA.
Hunter Insurance Agency in Hunter, North Dakota provides insurance you can trust and count on. Whether it's crop, hail, farm, home, or auto insurance, Hunter Insurance is here to help provide peace of mind that you are well covered. Call Agent Johnny Jorgensen or visit hunterinsuranceagency.com for more information. Attention business owners, did you know that burglary and theft in Fargo is nearly 2 times higher than the national average? Walmart recently said that if theft doesn't slow down, they'll have to raise prices and shut down stores. Target projects they'll lose $600 million in net profits this year due to theft. As a business owner, you need to protect your business and your profits. You need a security solution. And right now, for a limited time only, 702 Communications is offering business security solutions that will protect you, your business, your employees, and your profits. To find out if you qualify for a 702 Communications business security solution, call right now at 218-304-8676. Again, that's 218-304-8676. Imagine the peace of mind you'll have knowing that your security solution is monitoring your business 24/7, 365. That peace of mind is priceless. So call now at 218-304-8676. Again, 218-304-8676.
Commodities and livestock ended the day mixed. For the American Ag Network, I'm Richard Risvet with this market close. Now, gains in the commodities had to do so against some risk-off headwinds today. Stocks are mostly lower due to those headwinds as the dollar follows Treasury yields higher to 4+ week highs, fueled by Friday's robust jobs report that risks a more hawkish Federal Reserve moving forward here. Yet the VIX continued to trade below 20 for all day, indicating little panic on Wall Street. Crude oil prices are also higher as bargain hunters make purchases just above the $72 per barrel level, while that strong dollar is limiting gains. Spread trading had the hard red wheats gaining on the soft red wheat market today. Corn and soybean prices were feeling the pressure of improving conditions in South America. Rain deficits continue overall in Argentina, but with some storm systems interspersed periodically that have brought some improvement in condition ratings to levels seen in recent years. The more rapid soybean harvest progress in Mato Grosso now has a steady stream of soybeans moving toward the ports, while also allowing more than 20% of the safrinha corn in the region to be planted as well. Gains in corn were also difficult to sustain after several unsuccessful attempts to test resistance just below the $6.90 on the March charts, while soybean prices were also at lofty levels considering the advancing harvest in Brazil combined with rising tensions between China and the U.S. Let's get a look at some of the closing commodity numbers. March corn up 1.5 at $6.79. March beans down 10 3/4 at $15.21 1/4. Bean meal March down $7.50 a ton at $4.89 even. Bean oil March up 25 points at $59.31. Wheat Chicago March down 6.5 at $7.50 1/4. Kansas City March up 3 at $8.76. And the March Minneapolis wheat that was down 6 at $9.15 1/2. Live cattle February up 55 at 160.82. Feeders March up 160 at 187.70. And the February lean hogs, they're up 2 pennies at 75.05. And crude oil is trading up almost $1 at just over $74 a barrel. For the American Ag Network, I'm Richard.
Welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for rejoining us. I'm meteorologist Justin Storm. I'm here with Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki, Ag Director Bridgette Readel. And Bridgette, you were touching on something before we went on to break. I think it had something to do with hoof and mouth disease. Is that right?
It does indeed. So last week when I was able to be in New Orleans and part of National Cattlemen's Beef Association's annual meeting, one of the topics that was most heavily talked about was when Dr. Jewel Brown, and she is the assistant deputy to the USDA. She was there to talk about the fact that hoof and mouth disease is extremely rampant around the globe, and it's highly contagious. This will cause problems for cloven hoof animals. So this includes our sheep, our hogs, our beef animals or dairy, but also can be in wildlife. And with hoof and mouth disease, once it gets a foothold in an area, it spreads rapidly, and it's very detrimental. It causes mouth sores and so forth, so that the animals can't eat. Well, this is going to be a problem when you're trying to feed livestock to stay alive. And it can also affect just our overall herd health, dropping numbers due to fatalities. Vets are very concerned. USDA has also been working to make sure that there is a vaccination bank available in the United States, meaning if all of a sudden we had an outbreak, farmers and ranchers would be able to get a vaccine for their animals to try to prevent a loss of life. Remember, with this disease, though, we also have a lot of biosecurity measures in place at our borders. That's why when you come back from vacation, you're asked, do not bring plants or animals from other areas. Make sure that you clean your shoes if you have recently been on a hog or a beef operation, that type of thing, because we do want to keep those things from entering our country.
And Bridgette, outside of hoof and mouth, what were the biggest concerns that you took out of New Orleans?
I think overall, folks are in a fairly optimistic state of mind right now. They are interested in what's going on technology-wise. They are also interested to see where the Farm Bill is going to take us, with more conservation practices being emphasized as that comes to light. That Farm Bill is due to be finished by the end of September of 2023. Hopefully that indeed happens. It's a big topic of conversation. Overall, as far as prices are concerned, folks are seeing better prices than they have. But again, some of that has to do with the supply and demand of the herd numbers in the U.S. at this point. This was a gathering of over 7,000 ranchers from across the U.S. They affect policy. There are one of multiple organizations for beef in the U.S. One of the other large ones is RCAF USA, and we've talked to Brett Kinsey from South Dakota. He's the RCAF USA national president. He's brought up a lot of different topics for us when it comes to marketing and working with the packers and also legislation. So folks are very passionate about beef, and they gather in large numbers and want to make sure that they help out to do the right things all around us. Pretty impressive.
And Bridgette, now when you were down there with with the whole balloon thing with China, was there any concern? Was there any concern about trade with China? Like, would there be retaliation? Was there any concern about that?
You know, that's a really great question, Dean. And honestly, I didn't get a lot of discussion points about it. Beef is indeed sold to China. In fact, they're a fairly large trading partner for us with our beef industry because they want high quality. Now, the reality is we didn't talk about it a lot, only because there was so much else going on. Only because there was so much else going on at the time. That was not my topic for the day. My topic was talking on stage about rural stress, mental health awareness, and also suicide prevention in our rural communities.
Interesting. Yeah.
Just speaking about that whole balloon thing, and this is where I'll ask for anyone's thoughts or opinions on it, 701-293-9000. I mean, it turns out, I guess, how do you guys feel about this whole balloon situation? What, after processing what's gone on, what's happened, what you've seen, what are you thinking about this whole balloon situation right now?
Oh, man.
I'll be honest. I'm trying not to think, and you guys can laugh and say I'm just, being a Pollyanna and burying my head in the sand. But I have some things closer to home that I'm way more concerned about than who did what with a balloon. Really, in this advanced day and age, we're going to get spy balloons now. That just seems like, am I also going to have a camera in my shoe like they did on
they
all the
probably
old
already
spy
do.
movies?
You probably already got that camera in your shoe, and Nike's not telling you about it yet. It'll come out next year.
A lot of experts were saying, listen, they've got the spy satellites, but here's the thing. With the balloon, you can hover over one area and get more detailed pictures than a speeding satellite, which has to bam. I mean, you have to make sure there's no cloud cover. It's... I don't know.
But they have geostationary satellites too.
They do, but still, this is below. You can go. Well, they were 60,000, so you can hover over one area for a little and get a little closer look. I don't know.
That's how I kind of think about it. I think it's been just. Is it important? Is it serious? Yes, and it can be, but I feel like it's getting blown into a much more a much larger deal than it actually
And,
needs to be.
Take your, it's like the shell game. Take your eyes off the prize. There's much like our rancher friend who was down in New Mexico with the border crisis.
Yes.
That's a much bigger issue than a Chinese balloon floating across our airspace. I mean, that's again taking your eye off the prize. Let's distract.
Well, and there's another report coming out now, and I don't know if I believe it. And they're saying that what was hanging underneath this balloon weighed thousands of pounds.
It looked pretty big.
Well,
Can a balloon lift
okay.
thousands of pounds, though?
I don't
That's
know.
got to be a
Remember,
massive balloon.
Well, 3 city
remember,
buses.
It needs to be bigger than that.
It does, yeah.
Go ahead, Bridgette.
Yeah, the Hindenburg carried people.
That was a big balloon.
Yeah.
But we're going to head over to the phone lines. We got Grant on the phone. We're going to bring Grant in. Welcome to the show, Grant. What's going on? What are your thoughts on this whole balloon?
Well, hey, hang on to your horses. I got a great conspiracy theory for you.
Oh, wait.
Hidden power, secrets, cover-ups, corruption. You think you know?
So while the Biden boys were in China, they got themselves in trouble, and they're holding it against them, Hunter and Joe. And Joe made a deal with them to allow the balloon to go across America without shooting it down.
Well, that's it.
Wow.
That would be one conspiracy theory.
They have information on Hunter and Joe.
Well,
they probably do, don't they? That makes sense.
That's the rumor. That's the rumor.
You could almost see it.
Right? Right?
That's a rabbit hole we could go down another show.
Well, we don't even have. We've got 45 seconds left. I don't think we could dive down that rabbit hole that quickly.
Anyway, it's crazy they let it happen.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys. That takes it easy.
Yeah,
thanks
no
a
problem.
lot.
Thanks for calling, Grant. Appreciate you listening. And yeah, I don't know. It's just like I said. I think it's turning into a much larger deal than maybe it needs to be.
And like I said, let's take care of some other things. And other than that, let's worry about some things a little closer to home that's going to affect our farmers and ranchers right along the border. Let's take care of that first.
Yep, definitely. But that's going to wrap it up for Weather and Ag in Focus today. We thank you for listening. We'll be back tomorrow, 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The Jay Thomas Show is coming up next.
970 WDAY AM and 93.1.